Hey guys, hello. Good morning, India. Good afternoon, England. Good evening in California, and mm, uh, bedtime in West Coast. Welcome to you all. My name is Raman Anamraju. I authored a book called, I written a book called Science is Not a Subject, Science Must Be a Lifestyle. So it's actually, I'm trying to come up with ideas that true science behind medicine, that's our goal to explain. Actually, true science means in physics and mathematics, art, philosophy, psychology, all those things. What are the sciences behind this true medicine? That's what we want to bring. We want to fuel innovations, exposure to other subjects besides medicine for the doctors, for the healthcare professionals, healthcare innovators, healthcare IT people. We want to bring a new kind of understanding about science. We are trying to bring it to the front. So exposure is important. Just exposing itself to the other subjects are critical in my view to the innovations. I give always a small story, but I'm going to repeat that again. My son wanted to go to University of he got admission. He got admission in the University of Georgia and Vanderbilt University for neuro. Vanderbilt University got admission in the neurosciences, and then he had an admission in University of Georgia. So all his buddies are going to University of Georgia. He wanted to go with them. Party town is like is a new psychedelic place. All party town. All his buddies are going there. He doesn't want to go to Vanderbilt. I told him. He said, Vanderbilt is a great school, and you should try at least. That's neuroscience is a very good subject, and why don't you go there? No, no, I'm sticking with University of Georgia. I said, nothing wrong with the University of Georgia. It's a great school. But eventually I bribed him to go to Vanderbilt to see at least. So he went there. Then the university picked up to a bus. They sent a bus actually to all the students who want to visit Vanderbilt. So he went there, came back, and said that I'm going to Vanderbilt. He said, what changed your mind? I said, oh, there are a lot of beautiful women there. He saw exposure is important. You see, you don't know what can bring the new ideas for you. So that is a big story for exposure. See, so so you all need to get exposure to other subjects like mathematics, physics, chemistry, art, biology, philosophy, all those things. So that's my attempt. But anyway, I'm going to. This is an interesting subject. You would like that actually. It's kind of a taboo subject, but I'm going to start that. It's called fractal medicine. Fractal medicine is a kind of a new kind of idea. That's kind of a new idea existing there, but I put together kind of things together to understand. You see a lot of geometrical figures. This is not a geometry lessons. I know geometry teachers are not popular when you were studying school. When you want to be a doctor, geometrical symbols are not the popular ones. Um, then you have Indian deities of there, Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, Vinayaka, and all those things. Deities. I tell you the connection a little bit in few minutes. But yeah, that is a subject about fractal medicine. What is a fractal? So you will go into the little bit of details in a minute. It is a truly educational purpose. Don't try anything. This is not a treatment. This is not a advice. This is a purely educational purpose only. That is, I want to make sure that this is a disclaimer that I need to make. So there is a story on Medium appeared a year ago or so. This is her name is Erin, long last name. I don't want to say that last name, but she there is a story on Medium. It's a Medium is very popular, and then in that Medium there is a Dr. Sunil Kumar Agarwal is the doctor for her. She is in stage 4 terminal breast cancer. She has a mother of two, and then he wants to prescribe. The reason was she was consumed by dying thoughts and leaving the children and all those things. It is understandable. It is a very traumatic and sad story. But Dr. Kumar Agarwal wants to prescribe psilocybin, a psychedelic drug, to her. So, but the state and all there was a big uh, resistance against it, because it is a controlled substance, extremely controlled substance, Schedule A drug, and it is not as a medically, the CDC, the CMS declares as a medically not beneficial, and not doesn't serve any purpose. That is the definition of Schedule A drug. If it's Schedule A drug, but if you see it, so whatever the reasons are, it is she cannot be prescribed that medicine. The advantage of psilocybin, I will give you in a minute. What is a psilocybin is? Psilocybin is a chemical, a psychedelic drug. Okay, it's from the mushrooms. The it is a particular mushrooms, a fungi, a branch of fungi. Um, there is another drugs is called mushrooms, and they call street drug, LSD. All the several names on it. DMT is another kind of a class of drugs, same psychedelic families. Same family. This drug is consumed by Amazonian Indians. On It's called a brew. They make a brew out of it. These mushrooms. It's called. It is called Ayushkas brew. I think I say it right. Ayushkas brew. It's a very Indian name actually. Ayushka is a Ayushka. Ayushka is a long live. In Telugu, in Sanskrit. But anyway, is a Ayushkas brew they gave. They drink that, and then they enjoy the ceremonial occasions. The Amazonian Indians consume this drug for. It's not for entertainment, just entertainment, but it is for the benefit of just their ceremonial purposes they do. Um, so when it was in 60s and 70s, this was this United States went through a renaissance that you see a big 60s new age hippie movement came in, and Beatles and all those things. They were experimenting. A lot of mathematicians and physicists, a lot of them went to from Berkeley. They went to Amazon, and tried these kind of things, and they have written extensively about these drugs experiences, psychedelic drugs, their experiences. So after New York University, once the Nixon administration came down, it's not. I'm not a political. I don't want to be any political here. It is a purely science. But they were worried about this is going to catch up in the America with all the kids, rightly so, some extent. So they kind of banned all these kind of drugs. So the research is over and everything is done after that. So it went down. Their popularity went down, and not popularity, but their kind of things usages went down, and a big movement against in the administration, against the drugs, uh, say no to drugs, that kind of things. But eventually came in the 90s again, came back in 2000, and started it in 2000. New York University, Langone Health started a John Hopkins and Langone Health, and the University of Berkeley. They started this combined program called with the research on the psychedelic drugs, particularly psilocybin, mushrooms extract. So in the results were astounding. That's one dosage of drug that created a depression went out, when compared to 200 milligrams of psilocybin is really stopped a lot of depressions. That it is a very I am an on, I'm not, but anyway, I hope you can hear me. Um, this is okay. But anyway, I'll make sure that you can. I don't know, something is not, it's not coming out right, but I hope it is. Um, the technology, technical things is working. I hope it is working. But there's New York Langone started their own psychedelic center for psychedelic medicine, actually a department. There was in the 60s, there's a botanist called Terence McKenna, started is a botanist, American botanist writers very long descriptions about the experiences of the psychedelic medicines, psychedelic drugs. In fact, mushrooms, what he particularly Ayushka's brew, his experiences he mentioned in his videos, and then eventually died with us. But in the 60s it was a popular, but after that the research stopped. And 2000 they started again. New York Langone, and then the John Hopkins, and then University of Berkeley started together a center. They started a studies research on the psychedelic drugs. What they found is astounding. Basically, it is 80% of the participants. The one dosage, one administered drug, one dosage is enough to actually the depression to be gone. It's very strange. Results are, when compared to the traditional drugs, it is really astounding. It is surprising results and outcomes on this study. um, so he wanted to the Dr. Sunil Kumar Agarwal, he wanted to prescribe to Erin, his patient, the CMS and other the federal agencies. Rightly so, some extent, because they don't want to control. They don't want these drugs to be everywhere and these recreational, not controlled areas. So they objected it. So, but Erin, and which is the mother of two with end stage terminal cancer, they filed a lawsuit against the in federal courts. But that is a story. We don't know what is the result of that. But I'll let you know in the future if it is anything happens in that direction. So so there is a trumpet, as I said, that I don't want to be any political here, but the facts are the Trump administration passed a law called Right to Try Act. Right to Try Act is even unapproved treatments you can administer as a last resort to the patients. You know, so that is a law. In fact, it's a law signed by Trump, Donald Trump. But the agencies are not excited to implement it. They're not that much because rightly so, some extent, because they don't want this thing to go out of control and become another headache for them in the future. That's what happened with the all the pain drugs, as you know. So that is how they're more careful about it, understandably so. This is the situation there. But that there is a law exists actually, that is in the form of that is a option available to some doctors in some states. So the next the so why they wanted to prescribe to Erin? She is consumed by dying thoughts, actually, mainly every day consumed by dying thoughts, and leaving the two children, young children, to that's kind of a situation she was in, and it is a tough. So he wanted to prescribe the psilocybin to stop that dying thoughts. But we are in the different world right now, in the 2022. We are in a mental health, we're in the growing mental health crisis. Whether we don't admit, but there is a mental health catastrophe is in making right now in the United States and everywhere in the world. Because of the pandemic, there is a long COVID, or some of the effects on the neurological diseases of the long COVID, and that is one of the things that we don't know yet. All the research has not come on as we don't know yet the results are. So that's some problems in the long COVID area, in the neurological side, and in the psychological effect on people, on the mental health. So then another economic factors. Now there is a supply chain. For example, if the war is going on in Russia and Ukraine, and if the supply chain gets disrupted couple of months more, we're going to be in a serious trouble, because we don't manufacture anything. We all the countries, even the poorest countries in the world, gave nothing against China, but we sold our the real soul to other country, to other countries. One country, all the manufacturing around the world, even India buys from China. Can you believe that 1.5 billion people with India, they don't have the manufacturing base. They all depend on China. The Malaysians, Singapore, Vietnam, even Vietnam itself, they will depend on China. So if there is one screw is missing in a CT scanner or MRI, you have to wait to China to send it back to you. That is that situation. So as you know, in the beginning of the COVID, the PPEs and all these masks and all these, you know, the what happened, it is a disaster. So it is a we so one of the effects of the economic crisis is the mental health. The first symptom of the economic situation and the systemic collapse is mental health, and then it follows the domestic violence, and then it is the violence, the domestic violence, street violence, everything follows those kind of things after. So we have to be really, we are in a serious, we need to pay attention to the is mental health catastrophe, in fact, is in making in the it is a brewing, in my view. It's um you don't have to believe me. Watch the statistics here. Is a 52 point. This is a the statistics from the CDC. 52.9 million people in the United States alone have the any some kind of a mental illness. That's called AMI, any mental illness. 52.9 out of 300 million people. 52 million people have some mental illness. Is they're going through a mental illness, anxiety disorder, or depression, or any other, all the related illnesses. In fact, obsessive compulsive disorder, all kinds of things it manifests to. And besides the COVID-19 after effects, these are all brewing in that sense. It is a 52.9 million. It's a staggering number. We never seen in the history of these things. You see the statistics here. The reasons are so many, but this is the one thing is growing. We are in a very deep trouble if we don't address this problem. So, what is the reasons of a host of reasons? One is stigma is the main thing. No, but used to be stigma is the main reason, because people don't want to say that, hey, I have mental health, and everybody stigmatized. That's one of the biggest problem in the mental health. Is there is no difference between a mental health and a physical health. They're all same. So in the same sense, um, different manifestations, but from the disease point of view, we need to treat them as the same, as actually there's no difference. So it's a lot of reasons. Difficulty in access to, you're not getting access, cost. A lot of insurance don't cover the mental health certain things. Some of the treatments they don't cover. The mental health is not taken serious by insurance companies, because they don't know how to deal with that situations. Particularly that number, the huge number. There's no country with the economic resources, or health resources are not enough. That's another reason. Even if you want to give them all the benefits and uh, all the things, that there are not enough psychologists, psychiatrists, and there are not enough people there to provide the resources, human resources. Healthcare professionals are not there enough to provide this kind of a support. So we have to really, so many barriers there. So that's another reason this is a really, we need to pay attention to this crisis. So you're talking about not just the United States, the entire world. 1 billion people live with a mental disorder. Out of 8 billion people, 1 billion people have mental illnesses in this world. For humanity, we have to address this problem. If the leaders don't address, at least we have to be aware. The doctors needs to be aware. We need to come up with the new innovations. We are just put under the carpet is not going to solve any problems. So we have to bring this thing to the front lines. 1 billion people around the world has a mental disorders. Every 3 million people die due to the substance abuse around the world. 3 million people every year. It is just a staggering number. Every 40 seconds someone commits suicide, in the worldwide, because that we don't have Every 40 seconds, think about that. Somebody's dead. We're not paying attention to this disease at all. This is a sad part of the whole story. So what is the solutions? What are the resources they have? And the governments, the World Health Organizations, um, for doctors, not too many. The psychiatrists, or they prescribe some drugs, but how many? There is a billion, 52 million people. If they go to the doctors, you cannot. There is no way you have enough resources to address that many people. So you don't have mass solution. The government doesn't know how to address all the governments. I'm not talking about U.S. or a particular government. The worldwide problem. This is all the people in the world. This is facing this problem. They don't have too many solutions on their hand. The leaders, the policy makers, leaders don't have enough solutions on their hand. That is a that is a blank, in my view. It's a tough situation there. So I was thinking, and then we thought about it, and there are some research on this area, but can we do a mathematical solution as a relaxation purposes? Not, definitely if you have a chronic disease of any disease, you have to go to the doctor and get treatments. Some of them are, things that we can relax at home. Some of the things we can do, things to relax, mental relaxation. You go to gym to get a physical exercise. Where do you go to get a mental exercise? There's no place. So we want to create some mathematical gym. It's a mental gym. That's the Loma and a lot of the other organizations came in the picture before Le Mans City. I forgot Le Mans City. They used to advertise it quite a bit, but this is not. This is the one I'm going to talk with you a little bit different about it. But this is a mathematical equation. Is a solution. Is kind of funny, but it is. It could be a solution. I'm going to explain to you why. Um, it could be a solution. It's my reasoning, but there is a lot of studies done on that. They're not extensive studies, but there are reasonable studies done on this area. Um, so that's a. I'm not here teaching you math equations here, but see, I let you get away without it. But what is that These are fractals, also one of the things that I want to talk about in the next session. But fact, when you see people like Marilyn Monroe or Aishwarya Roy, Indian actress, she was named as the most beautiful woman in the world. So just some guy sitting down on the computer, they came up with some ideas. So the Denzel Washington, we consider them as a beautiful people. You know why? There is a reason. There's a facial symmetry is one of the reasons. The research study says that facial symmetries, or if you take a bilateral symmetry, if you split into two, if you draw a line between both sides are completely equal, those are the people we consider them as a as a as a beautiful people. That is the reason. This idea of symmetry, liking the symmetry, comes from our human civilization, in the sense that it is the savannas of Africa, as a humans coming out. That's patterns. We like familiar patterns, because if you see a line before, next time you see it, it's a dangerous one. If you see a dog, you're not get scared. So this kind of a familiar patterns, if you take off of the portion, it's not scaring you. The rest of the off of the portion is not going to scare you. Is no threat for you. This side of it, the similar side comes of the is not going to be any more threat for you. That's a human threat. We could perceive any unfamiliar structures are all or threat for us. That is a mentally we are line mentally hardlined in that direction. So symmetry is a very important aspect. It plays with our mind, in our mind. So it is a I'm going to talk with you about the next session about the symmetry and the power of symmetry in the influence on the brain, in fact. So I wanted to talk with you about this Benoit Mandelbrot is an IBM engineer. They brought him from, he's a Polish French immigrant actually. He's like a Marie Curie. Marie Curie went to from Poland to Paris, and then she did a lot of research in the Paris. Same thing, Benoit Mandelbrot. He went to from the Poland to the Poland to Paris, then eventually he immigrated to United States as an IBM engineer. He got a job as IBM engineer. So he was, when he was working as an IBM engineer, one of the problems you need to solve is noise. The noise between, when you are sending the telephone lines, there is some noise coming up in the uh, doesn't matter whatever whichever the distance is. If you are sending a telephone line, 80, particularly Bell Labs and IBM is one of the communications at the time. They want to find out how to minimize that noise that coming from nowhere. So they employed him. He was studying these noises, actually patterns of these noises. He found out the noise is getting repeated everywhere, same noise, same pattern being repeated, rather than it is a multiplying, rather than it's not something different. It is same pattern. Even the noise, the chaos itself is a pattern to it. That is what he found. That is he named it as a Mandelbrot set, and I will talk with you next week about that a little bit more. But this is a very exciting kind of ideas that you should pay attention. There's a lot of opportunities, business opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities, a lot of scope for the innovations in this area. So I would suggest that please join. Today Jennifer is not, my co-host is not there today. She will join tomorrow. Um, so yeah, anyway, but I hope we have done. This is a long time we are working on it, and I'm going to talk with you tomorrow about the fractals, the second part of it, how the Benoit Mandelbrot, and how the symmetry works in our minds. And then I show you a little bit of. I'm going to let you watch a video of the fractal video, a quick video for you before you leave. Just give me a second, and then I'm going to play that one to you. So this is a brain cafe. I call brain cafe. It's a mental relaxation, um, fractals, basically fractal geometries. So just to watch it for 1 minute, and yeah, I hope you can see my screen. So see you tomorrow. I'll show you this. I'm going to show you the connection between the psychedelics and the fractals. So mathematical solution may be in this horizon for us. We'll talk with you tomorrow about that more. Thank you so much for joining, and see you tomorrow with my co-host Jennifer, along with Jennifer. Thank you all.